Class 8, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you have submitted all your notebooks in the office and have got all the unit test 2 marks also. So let's do the concluding part of ecosystem today. But let's quickly revise what we had done in the last lecture. So I had told what a food web is, that the food chains of a region interconnect and they form a food web. This is a very simple food web that is given, and what is actually given, that in a food web each organism can be eaten by 2 or many other organisms, that is, it gives alternative foods to the organism. Like you can see over here that the eagle has several alternatives if one of the alternative is missing from the food web, and as a result, what does it do? It ensures better chances of survival to the organism in case of scarcity of food. So it shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem. So this energy is transferred between organism when one organism eats another organism. Is that clear? So it gives more stability to an ecosystem than a food chain, because there are alternative sources of food, and therefore the chances of survival of a particular species is more. Is that clear? So this is what food web is, and then I had taken up the ecological pyramids. What are ecological pyramids? Basically they are graphical representations of the trophic structure ecosystem. That is, the flow of energy in a food chain is called energy flow, and each level is called a trophic level. So this pyramid or graphical representation, it gives what? An idea about the energy distribution in a particular ecosystem. That is, the whole trophic structure of the different trophic level. It gives the structure of the whole ecosystem. So it is a pyramid shape with a large base that tapers at each level and ends as a small point. So you can see this, there are ecological pyramids of several types, that is pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and then we discussed this also. Let's see this. So this is a pyramid of number. Now here what is being shown is the number of organisms in a food chain, and each bar represents the number of living organisms and each trophic level in the food chain. So you can see that at the base, what are they? The plants are there, and that is the producers, and they are the largest in number, and above the base bar are the primary consumers or the herbivores, right? And then the secondary consumers, and finally the top carnivores, tertiary consumers. So you can see the number of organism is decreasing as we move on or move to the apex of the pyramid. Then we have the pyramid of biomass. What is biomass? This is the pyramid of biomass, and the biomass of an organism is what? It is the mass of each living organism multiplied by the total number of organisms in that trophic level. So it indicates the amount of food available in the next trophic level. Is that clear? So when animals eat, only a small amount of the food is converted into new tissue, that is the food for the next trophic level. Therefore, at each trophic level, less biomass is transferred. You can see here the amount of biomass that is available is the maximum, and then as you keep on moving upwards towards the apex, the amount of biomass decreases. Is that clear? That means the producers have the maximum biomass, while the carnivores have the least biomass. Is it clear? So this is the pyramid of biomass. Now today we will discuss the concluding part, that is the forest ecosystem and the types of forest. Is that clear? Now, forest ecosystem, what is a forest? You all must be aware what a forest looks like. It is a large area of land covered with trees, and these trees includes not just tall trees but includes all types of all varieties of trees, starting from the very huge trees to huge varieties of herbs, shrubs, bushes and grass. All sorts of trees are there. So a forest as an ecosystem has both abiotic, that is non-living, and biotic components. So the abiotic components again are what? As for any ecosystem, that is the soil, water, sunlight, air. Is that clear? And biotic of course needs that includes all the living components, that are the producers and the consumers. So flora, when we say flora of a place, that means all plants that grow in that particular area or that region are called flora, and all animals that live in a region are called fauna. So different forests of the world have different types of flora and fauna. That is what makes them different. Is that clear? So let's study about the types of forests. So these forests are also called as tropical rainforest. That is the first type of forest we are studying. These thick forests occur in the regions near the equator and close to the tropic. So these regions are hot and receive heavy rainfall throughout the year. Is it clear? And there is no particular dry season. The trees do not shed their leaves altogether. This is the reason why they are called as evergreen. Is it clear? And they are found in Amazon basin, Zaire basin and Malaysia, then Myanmar, Vietnam, Indonesia and New Guinea. Is that clear? So what are the characteristics? The hot and humid climate of this region helps in the thick growth of vegetation. Then these are evergreen forests with broad leaves. These forests consist of very tall trees and consist of hardwood trees. They are creepers that cling around other trees. The main species are mahogany, ebony, bamboo, sandalwood, rosewood, rubber trees, etc. Is it clear? Then what is the fauna? That is wildlife are infested with many types of that is lizard, apes, monkeys, bat, then turtle, alligator, crocodile, then jaguar and all. So I'm just revising with you that tropical evergreen forest, or they also call as the tropical rainforest. Rainfall over here in these forests is more than 200 centimeter per year, and climate is warm and humid, and because of this only there is vegetation or there is growth of trees throughout the year. And the soil is very rich in minerals and humus. Humus is what? Yes, it has been formed by the dead remains of animals and plants, basically the plant matter, and makes the soil very fertile. And in India they are found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Western Ghats. The trees of these forests always look green. You can see the forest, very green forest and very tall trees, and they do not shed the leaves at one time, so they are called as evergreen forest. Example of flora is mahogany, ebony, shisham. Then these are the various animals found there: leopard, monkey, and then snail, and the various types of rodents. That here, rats, mice, all these various types of rodents are found. Next type of forest is the tropical deciduous forest. Now this is the picture of a tropical deciduous forest, and such type of forests are found in the northern and eastern parts of India. They grow in the regions having rainfall between 75 centimeter and 200 centimeter per year. The trees shed the leaves in the dry season of the year, so they are called as deciduous forest. The different types of trees that are found, that is the flora, sal and teak, and the different animals, different type of animals, or the flora are bear, raccoon, squirrel, bison and all. Is it clear? And such type of animals also occur in the temperate deciduous forest also, and along with the deer, wolf, moth and fox. Moth is an insect like butterfly only, but very dull colored, and there are several other differences between them. This is the picture of a temperate deciduous forest, the third type of forest. And these forests, you can see, are found in hilly areas, in cool and rainy regions such as the western Himalayas, where the annual rainfall is between 75 centimeter and 150 centimeter. Trees shed their leaves during winters and grow back in the spring. Is that clear? So the different types of trees that are found here are neem, sal, teak, sisam. These are of the tropical deciduous forest. While the temperate deciduous forest, the trees that grow are, they are of course the birch, the pine tree, then the oak tree. There are the different types of lichen, then beech, ferns, maple tree. These are all the fauna of the temperate deciduous forest. Then the coniferous forest. Coniferous forest means at very high altitude. Is that clear? You can see this beautiful picture and the types of trees that are there: pinus, deodar, spruce, fir. This is the flora of coniferous forest, and the characteristic of these trees are that they are small and needle-like. The leaves are small. The trees are comparatively small, and their leaves are needle-like. So whatever snow that falls on them can easily flow down, not call that cooling effect or the cold injury to the plants. They remain green all year round. You visit any hill station, you can see this type of trees, and that means they are evergreen. They are found at 1700 to 3000 meters above the sea level. Is it clear? So you can see the different types of trees or the plants that grow over there, and you can see the types of shape they have. The leaves, I've told you, they are basically needle-like. Is that clear? Thin leaves at the pointed tips, so that their surface area gets reduced. Is it clear? And then what is the fauna of these regions? You can see different types of deer, goat, wolf, robin, bird, which is a bird, moose, bald eagle, species of eagle, and bear. Is that clear? Lynx, a wolf-like creature, wolverine, all these resemble the wolf. Then beaver, then hawk, owl, then different types of hare, type of rabbit only, hare and rabbit. Is it clear? So next, a few wildlife sanctuaries or few wildlife forests that we have in India is the Gir forest, which is located in Gujarat, very famous for the Asiatic lions. In fact, it is the center for the Asiatic lion. And the various trees that grow over here are teak, peepal, acacia, neem. Is that clear? Then the animals, of course, the leopards and lions. Apart from there, the bears, hyenas, jackals, nilgai, crocodiles, especially and it is special, or it is well known for its Asiatic lions. Is that clear? You can see the various kinds of animals that are found there in the Gir forest. The next is the Jalatpura sanctuary, which is found which is situated in West Bengal. Now this is the picture of the Jalatpur sanctuary, and various kinds of trees like the banyan tree mostly inhabit this region, and apart from the other types of trees, In the fauna, of course, it is famous for its rhinoceros. Apart from this, there are various kinds of animals and birds also found here. So they are the various types of animals which are found in Jalakpur sanctuary. Apart from this rhinoceros, one horned animal. And this is Jalakpur sanctuary is very famous for this. Next is Jim Corbett National Park, which is situated in Uttarakhand, or located in Uttarakhand. Is that clear? And we all, at least once, we have heard the name of this national park, because this is a very popular center for the tourists. So the flora is alpine, bamboo, various shrubs and grass, and the animals are, of course, all types of animals, basically bear, deer, leopard, jackal, mongoose, langur, eagles, and it is famous for its tigers. Is that clear? So these are the different forests or different sanctuaries and national parks that are located in India, and the different flora and fauna and inhabit them. Then why do we need to conserve the ecosystem? That is, why do we need to save the ecosystem? And we know that ecosystems are essential for our survival, and any imbalance can, of course, it is posing, or in fact any imbalance poses a threat to our life, not only our life but the various animals and plants inhabiting this planet, because each ecosystem that we can see or we have learned, they give us food, clean air and fresh water, which are needed for the survival of all the organisms. Is that clear? And ecosystem is healthy when? How? When we have more and more plant and animal species in an area, and a balance exists between the flora and fauna. And what is happening is that with increased industrialization, that is building of more and more industries, we are cutting down more trees, and the forest area is being cut, or it is being covered with the forest, or that area is exposed, and that is now available for building the houses and for industries only. So this poses a slight imbalance in nature and a great threat to our ecosystem. So you can see this picture also, the forest have been cut down, and this area will be used for building houses or for industries. So as a result of this cutting down of trees, that create a problem for both the animals inhabiting that particular area as well as the plants, and a challenge has been built up, or we are facing a challenge now in the form of the climate change. The changes in the climate, that rainfalls are erratic, there are droughts and floods here and there, then the sea level is increasing, that the overall average temperature has risen. So there are diseases, various types of diseases, of course, the various types of diseases which are there around us in the form of the pollution that we are getting, that is, the air is polluted, water is polluted. Apart from this, there is more use of plastics. Is that clear? The processed foods are there. There are more use of insecticides and pesticides. All these are posing a problem or a threat to the living organism on this earth. An extinction of wildlife extinction means they have disappeared from the earth forever, both the plants and animals. And there is shortage of both food and water. As the population is increasing, we cannot, that is, the amount of food that is being made or is not available to the population over there. Food is not, if it is available, then it is not clean. So there are some of the challenges which are being faced by us, and because of what? Because of the changes in the ecosystem. Thus, it is essential for us to restore and conserve our ecosystem. So how can we do this? We can do this by protecting our natural resources like the wildlife, rivers, and forests. We also need to stop polluting our air, water and land to save our planet. When we save the animals, we save and the plants, we save the earth. Is that clear? This is what conservation is, ecosystem conservation is. Inshallah, in the next lecture we will cover the exercise that is on page number 50, followed by the other exercises of this chapter. Revise the chapter. Allah Hafiz.